Hello. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about sex. In the 40 years plus that I've been functioning as a psychotherapist, one of the most satisfying areas where I feel I have made a positive impact for people is in teaching them things that I've learned from my clients and from my partners about sex. So we only have a few minutes, and the first thing is to mention how important sex is in a marriage or in a love partnership. As Stephen Gaskin used to say of the farm in Tennessee, sex is the sacrament that nourishes a marriage. And my husband and I felt that that was indeed true. Certainly, the numbers of marriages where there is sexual disgruntlement is probably well over 3/4 of all the marriages that there are. And it's easy, it's wonderfully easy to make a huge improvement in how happy your sex life is. First of all, it's totally normal and average for there to be a desire discrepancy in any twosome. One partner's idea about sexual frequency seems much too much or much too little to their partner. Of course, this doesn't obtain during courtship or the honeymoon period, but I'm talking about a couple who've been married for a year or 2 years or much longer than that. So just to understand that it's totally normal for one of you to want to make love much more frequently. And that's all right. So what? However, it's very helpful to increase the amount of sexual activity that there is in the marriage or the partnership, even though the person with the lower desire levels wouldn't spontaneously do so. But what you can learn is that even though your own desire, I'm talking to the person who has the lower desire level, and it doesn't always happen to be the woman, sometimes it's the man, but whoever you are, you, the person who has the lower desire level, need to understand that it can be harmless and painless and pleasant to make love more than you would spontaneously do on your own if your partner had exactly the same desire levels as you have. And so the way you get there is by using your sackle, your brain, your common sense about this area in your life. What a concept. Most people don't ever consider that their sex life could be vastly more satisfying and a happier part of their marriage or their partnership if they use a little brain to figure it out. And the reason for that is because sex is an altered state of consciousness. Sex is like you exchange your brain, your whole head, and you put a different head on for that activity. Altered states of consciousness are things like religious fervor or drunkenness or other kinds of intoxication. Or hypnosis. Those are common examples of altered states of consciousness. Well, sexual arousal is an altered state of consciousness. And the thing about a human being is that she or he doesn't like to think that there's another person in there. No, it's just me. Well, the fact is that when you become sexually aroused, you're not just you, you're a different version of you. And for that reason, there's this little barrier of resistance against thinking very much about sex when you're not aroused, and problem solving about sex. So just take from this little talk the idea that, oh, I could use my brain to figure out how our sex life could be much, much, much better. And also take this idea. So what if I don't feel like making love? I could probably, if I ushered myself into it in harmonious ways, I could probably participate in some sexual activity harmlessly without bothering myself, and it would mean a whole lot to my partner. And so I will expect to do more little talks about sex and other topics that are diamonds and rubies gleaned from my 40 years plus being a psychotherapist. So that's all for today.